Bama basketball weathers the storm. Bad officiating, awful broadcast, but a Sweet 16 visit for Nate Oates and the Crimson Tide. Bama football rolling up another big-time prospect, a 4-star linebacker coming to Alabama. That and more right here on the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up as we talk Alabama. Let's get this party started with a big Roll Tide. Here's your invitation. Hit the bell, by the way, so you know when we're dropping new content. Hey, everybody, there he is, big sexy Elmo at Brett Elmore Show on WJLX. I'm Mick Gillispie at Broadcaster Mick, and from the looks of our show yesterday, a lot of you guys were hanging out with us, so thank you for making that a very popular show, the Sunday Rollback and Roll Tide. Now, Brett, you have asked me, you sent me this. You want me to play this before I get started. Before I talk about basketball, before I talk about recruiting, you've sent me something.
Well, you know, I think I've mentioned this to you before, and you kind of just brushed it off. But the intro, I mean, doesn't have me on there. So I kind of made my own. So let's check it out.
They call him Big Sexy. Coming at you from the Walker County. Jasper is his hometown. He's known for giving free right now. Oh, Big Sexy. Going on those Alabama thoughts. Speaking at your long window without getting caught. You can see the XPs with Big Elmo in the beat. Big Sexy Elmo on the Bama Tailgate Show.
Now that's how you do it.
Oh my God, dude, that is, you wouldn't let me watch it. I see why. That is amazing, man. That's great stuff. I love that.
So
you'll be just play that every day.
Yeah, you'll be rewatching it. It's great. I mean, laying down the grooves. Thank you to the West Jasper 7 for doing that for me. I went downtown, talked to a few friends. Was like, you got to put down this track for me. I got in the production studio, and I was like, bring it, boy. It took me all day. I was like, up with the levels. Roll Tide, everybody. Welcome to the Sweet 16.
Oh man, dude, that is great stuff, man. My face hurts because I'm smiling right now, and I mean that you told me not to watch it. I'm glad you didn't, because this is a genuine reaction.
Yeah,
that is awesome, dude. All right, yeah. So let's talk about this basketball game, because couple of thoughts, dude. First off, the officiating was terrible. And I get it. You know, Charles Barkley took some shots at Alabama. Look, Auburn had the bad officiating too. The upper seeds were just not getting a fair shake in these games. And this team weathered that storm. The only thing worse was that broadcast. How come I'm listening to Ian Eagle and Kevin Harlan and these other ones in the other areas, and then I'm stuck listening to that. And a lot of times I'll put Chris Stewart on, but I wasn't in a spot where I could do that.
Yeah.
Just bad broadcast. It's just not something that I wanted to listen to. And they were cheering for Grand Canyon the whole time, on top of the fact that it sounded like somebody's, like, you know, a 12th grade broadcasting class put together a broadcast. It sucked. All of that, and Alabama won the game. Thank God they won the game.
Yeah, that was one of the wildest games I've seen in a while. I was like, watching.
Did you like the broadcast?
No, I hated it.
It was terrible, right?
Well, I didn't like the opening round either.
Yeah, but I'm saying it was just bad. Like that whole region was just like, it wasn't good. Like, I'm sorry. Like, and I know no one wants to say that, but everybody's thinking it. I'm going to do like my sister, who always seems to be that person that says what everybody else thinks. That sucked.
Yeah, it was bad.
Okay.
And the game was equally as bad. It was like watching a church league game or something on a Thursday night, and then a UFC fight breaks out or something. It was weird. Bama with 26 fouls and Grand Canyon with 21, and I was sitting there watching it with my buddies, and we were like, it's kind of like, what is going on?
Right.
And it was like we needed a break. It felt like someone call a timeout because I need a break because I don't know what in the hell I just watched.
Yeah.
But when it came down to it, Alabama's defense, Grand Canyon didn't score in the final 4 minutes of the ball game. We were down by 3 or 4 at one point.
Yeah.
So we ended up winning by 9.
We made fun of the defense, because it was like, hey, we're playing defense. We played defense, man.
Yeah, we played much better.
Great defense. Best we've played all year.
Right. We out-rebounded them. Both
fought our asses off.
Right. Yeah. It was a hard fight. Out-rebounded them on both the offensive and the defensive side of the ball. And, the three-pointers weren't on. I think we're only 25% from behind the arc. And then, we lost right cell again.
Yeah, I know. I'm worried about that. The concussion thing is a big deal.
Right. And, of course, he's got some time to rest up before Thursday, but still, I don't know. We'll know more about that probably early in the week. But he only had like 2 points. But Sears, 26 points. He played a heck of a ball game. And normally, we have like 4 players in double figures. We only had 2 in double figures last night.
Yeah.
Griffin was the only one with the other guy in double figures with 13. Estrada had 10 rebounds and 8 points. But going back to Sears, he recorded a double-double. He played a heck of a game.
He led, man. You know what I like?
He did.
He was leading out there. Like, he was just like orchestrating things because nothing was going right. And it started with the awful officiating. They weren't going to call fouls. Guys are getting hammered. I felt like it was, hey, if Grand Canyon wins, then it's going to be great because everybody's going to watch this upset, and instead of just calling the basketball game like you would call a basketball game. The problem is that Grand Canyon wouldn't make free throws and they couldn't make shots, and it was because Alabama played great defense. I know the bad officiating goes both ways, and I'm not saying that it didn't, but it was horse shit. I'm sorry. It was. And watching that was it was just hard, man. And I thought if this season ends to this team that's not even close to as good as Alabama because of these officials, it's going to suck. But it didn't happen. And another guy, Elmo, was Mo Diabate. How about the shots that this guy had when the game was on the line? Yeah. He stepped up when Alabama needed someone to step up. But there's a lot of heroes in a game like that. It was a street fight. It's like you said, it was like a church basketball game, except with knives.
Right. Well, I was talking about our local churches here in Walker County.
You guys play with knives down there.
Yeah, Diabate. He only played 12 minutes, had 9 points. But going back to Sears,
big 9.
Huge 9 points. But going back to Sears, talking about his leadership, he was only off the floor for exactly 1 minute in that game.
We couldn't have him off.
Game. Yeah. So onward we go. Sweet 16, baby, and congratulations. We have to play the Tar Heels.
Yeah, but I think we can beat them. I really, really do. It's going to be a better matchup for us because the officiating isn't going to try to they're not going to try to even things up because of seed numbers. They're just going to, I think it's going to be a fast moving game with a lot of shots going up. And if we don't win, I think we'll score. And I think we could beat them. I really do.
Well, the officiating's been questionable this whole tournament.
God, it sucks.
Yeah.
So bad.
Anyway, roll tide on that front.
Yeah, roll tide, man. I mean, it was like, I don't know. I was so annoyed by the officiating and the broadcast. And I'm going, man, like this is supposed to be where you put the best broadcasts. And they did that in other areas, but not in ours.
Yeah.
And it feel like it's the second straight year in the tournament where I've been like, what are we doing with this broadcast? Like what is this?
Right.
Like we just want to, you know what? Give us Kevin Harlan, throw these guys somewhere else. Like, why are we the ones stuck with this?
Right.
Not good. Okay. Sorry. It's just not. And it's not something that I want to watch the NCAA tournament that you're trying to, like this, you work the whole season for. I probably should have just done what I normally do, and that's turn the sound down and put on, Chris Stewart and Brian Pasick, but I couldn't because I was at someone else's house.
Yeah, me too. So
yeah, so you same thing. All right. Bama football back at it again. Luke Metz, 4-star linebacker, Mill Creek High School in Georgia. These guys know that if they want to be part of this recruiting class, and this was a huge weekend. We talked about it. A huge weekend of visitors to Tuscaloosa, and Metz is the next guy to jump on with Kalen Debore and company. The other schools in the SEC that thought that with Debore coming to town, that meant that there was a crack in the recruiting armor for Alabama are finding out that, hey, baby, the train's rolling on.
Yeah, we talked about it on the Sunday rollback that, all these recruits visiting and would probably have news during the week. And here we are on Monday morning and already getting news of another commitment yesterday. But this guy, I know Michigan was after him pretty hard. He's from Mill Creek High School, 6'3", 220 pounds. We don't know a whole lot about this guy other than this past season he was all region and all county selection. He also had some work not only as a linebacker but as a tight end. He's got that kind of frame. He totaled up 51 tackles, 14 quarterback hurries, 5 sacks, an interception, and then at tight end he caught 4 passes. Back in 2022, 2 years ago, they won the state championship, and he had 35 tackles and 3 sacks there, as a sophomore.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty good recruit. Like I say, 6'3", 215, and committed to Alabama over LSU, Oklahoma, Michigan, all those guys. So big roll tide there, buddy.
Yep. And look for more of this. I'm telling you guys right now that these spots are filling up fast. And this big weekend that Alabama had is going to continue to net blue chip prospects. And I did want to say this. We talked about Scott Cochran, although that was spelled wrong, coming to Tuscaloosa. And the reason why he was there was his son that we found out was that his son is a 2026 secondary defensive back that's being recruited. And that's how we had Scott Cochran. Yeah. Back.
No.
Well, a lot of people said no. I saw the comments. Like a lot of you guys don't want him to come back. I want to say this. Like I'm not advocating for him to come back in the same role he had. I just think that he would be an asset if you put him in the role of
put him in the right spot.
Relations, man, like an ambassador that you have that just keeps bringing all of these former players back to town. And I know that's something that Coach Debore has focused on. He had a Zoom with a lot of the former players. You just don't want to lose out on those guys that have made this program so prominent, man. There's a lot of national champions, a lot of guys that have gone on to great NFL careers. And whether you know it or not, the guys love Scott Cochran. They just love him. So, that's all I was saying. Like, but I'm not saying, hey, we need to replace our, strength coach with him or anything. I know that I think that ship sailed, but when he came in, back when Saban took over, he was the perfect guy for that job. And, but I don't know. I mean, he may not even want to do that, but that's why he was there, was for his son.
Yeah, and the whole thing too is, I know it's Coach Debore's program, but what kind of standing did it leave with Coach Saban? Because that's one thing Coach Debore will ask,
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have the answer to that question, and I don't care, whether they have a spot for him or not. It doesn't matter to me. We got a great staff, and we're getting the recruits left and right. So let's just roll with it, baby. Just roll with it.
All right, final topic, Brett. Women's basketball lost to Texas 65-54, and that's how the women's basketball season ends. Texas is a number 1 seed. Their coach is the guy that was over at Mississippi State that brought them the national providence. And I think Texas could win the national championship. I don't know. We'll find out. I mean, there's a lot of good teams this year, but they are number 1 seed. I thought Alabama fought hard, but at the same time, I'm sticking by what I said. I think that it's time for Christy Curry to move out and to get somebody young in that can take advantage of so many blue chip prospects that are in the South that aren't going to play for someone that they don't think can win a national championship. And I think we've, figured out that this is like one of Christy Curry's best seasons. And it was a second round, knockout. Most of the years they don't even make the NCAA tournament. So I'm kind of hoping that Alabama, retires her and moves on. I don't know if that's going to happen. But with that said, congratulations, because you know what? I mean, for her and the program standard, this was a great season. Obviously expectations aren't where most of Alabama programs are, but for them, even to make the tournament's a big deal. I mean, it's only happened in her 11 years, less than a handful of times. So,
yeah, they finished up the season 24-10. Sarah Ashley Barker had 17.
She's great.
Yeah, Nye had 14 and McQueen had 12 to round out the top scores.
Yep. Look, give the ball to Sarah Ashley and let her do her thing.
yeah, really.
All right. Well, love the Open, man. Anything that you want to get into? I guess I should tell everyone that you are on the air all week on WJLX in the morning. Yeah,
WJLX1015.com. If you're in my neck of the woods, the Jasper area, WJLX 1015 on your FM dial, or in North Central Alabama 1025 HD3. All the streaming apps, just look us up, WJLX. You'll find us on from 6 till 10 Central Time.
All right. And don't forget, we're brought to you by Pearl River Resort over in Choctaw, Mississippi. Great time to go over there in the middle of the tournament now.
Oh, yeah.
And put your bets down at the Timeout Sports Lounge. It's a Vegas-style sports book right there in Philadelphia at the Golden Moon Casino. You got Dancing Rabbit Golf Course, which is the Augusta that you can play. Just an amazing course. Inside the casino, table games and slots. You've got just an amazing lineup of bands that are coming through. And, we've talked about the fact that the Wallflowers and Boys to Men and Brian
Knight.
Yeah. Big and Rich, Gretchen Wilson. I mean, the list goes on and on. I'm pretty excited about Boys to Men, man. I've liked those guys forever. So I'm pretty pumped on that. But find out more at Pearl River Resort. And it's hour and a half from Tuscaloosa, 2 hours from Birmingham. And you guys check it out for yourself. I see you over there. I know you want to add something to this.
No, I'm fine. I know PearlRiverResort.com, and I was just thinking that Boys to Men song. I make love to you. Man,
was that one of your go-tos back in the day?
That was me cruising around in that. I had a Mustang at the time. I was like, had that up on the radio.
Slide that arm over.
I had the arm over. I had that.
He's big, sexy Elmo. I'm Mick Gillispie. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys, and a hearty Roll Tide.